Some minutes past the top of the hour, that is 9 a.m. in the morning. Good morning and much thanks for being with us on UBC TV. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyito. That is in case you have just joined. Welcome to The Extra, which is an extension of Good Morning Uganda. But I can never forget to remind you that we are here every weekday from 6:30. Najuma, Sonko, and Nyonyintono. And what do we do? Plus Chibirango. What do we do is brighten up your morning, but making sure you're well-versed, knowledgeable about things that are happening locally and internationally. Not forgetting that we also brighten, spice up your morning. So why not make it a date with us tomorrow, because we will be here waiting for you. Now, in The Extra, I usually have a guest or guests with whom we discuss issues of national concern. This morning, we are going to be discussing so much regarding social protection. Most of the times when we talk about social protection, people do not give it the due priority it deserves. But each of us, social protection is very important. Now, and when you clock that age of retirement, you need those shock absorbers, which is social protection. Now, when you look at our budget process, from the 16th to the 4th of October, we are having what we call local government budget consultative conferences. Now, here stakeholders, the political, the civil society organizations are giving in their views of what the budget should be. These are ongoing. And joining me this morning, I have Rose Obiga, who happens to be the woman member of parliament for Terego. Hope I pronounced that very well. And also, she's a champion of social protection in our parliament. Remember, they have a whole forum, parliamentary forum on social protection, with whom we are going to be discussing social protection and why this time we should ensure that all areas that handle social protection receive budget allocations that are worthy for implementation of those programs. Honorable, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I used to come, but for some time I've not been here. But I'm so happy to come and discuss social protection. Thank you.
Now, for my viewer, when you talk about social protection, briefly, in simple terms, what is social protection?
Thank you. Maybe I would start with the forum I sit on as the legal representative. That is the Forum for Social Protection. It's a pressure group that pushes for the vulnerable, especially the most elderly, those who deserve a budget to keep them moving. We as a parliamentary group, not necessarily a committee, many people know we are a pressure group to push government, to push Ministry of Finance to release money for SAGE and SEGO. That is our biggest interest. Thank you.
Now, I'll begin with SAGE. Now, when we talk about SAGE, that is Social Assistance Empowerment Grant. Now, this is money given to persons or senior citizens, 80 years, and every quarter they receive 75,000. Each month we look at about 25,000. I usually call this money the little but much. Now, when we look at the recent, the financial ending 2024-2025, we see that it was less by about 100.1 billion shillings. Now, this means that, of course, the elder persons, the senior citizens we are talking about, either are going to get until what is there is done, or some are going to be left out. Honorable, I want us to handle program by program, beginning with SAGE.
Thank you so much. Actually, it's a very big embarrassment. It's a shame to this country. I pray they do something, especially those holding finances of this country. I pray quickly they look into their books, they make sure they correct the anomalies. What is given to the elderly is actually a drop in the ocean, is a peanut, 25,000, and yet many of these elderly people are crowded with grandchildren. They are the base, they are the backbone of our society. No upright society can live without the elderly. And we should call them as blessings, because none of us is going to escape it so long as God gives us life and we live our lives properly. We'll be able to reach that old age. You know, yesterday, the proposal from the minister about the celebrations on fast was saying that the elderly have put a request to increase that pay to 35,000. You can see how they treat us. They think about basics. They do the most minimal. They are not greedy. They're asking an increment by 10%, and yet the little they have been taking, that is 25,000, is not even given totally. Not all of them are going to get. So we are not going to allow this budget cut. We cannot sit back and say, yeah, it's okay, we don't have resources. How about a lot of money that is being swindled? Ugandans must wake up. We must stop being corrupt. By the way, this country has enough money, actually excess, if only priorities were supposed to be measured and fulfilled. Especially, my number one priority is that money for SAGE. That money, we can never sit here and say that the money is deficient and therefore we are going to let go. No. By yesterday, the speaker asked the Minister of Finance to come back with a report on that deficit. And we need that money for the elderly. So I don't want the elderly to look down and say, oh, we have lost hope. You are our hope. We love you. Anybody who is guided and guarded by an elderly person is a blessing to the society. And I wouldn't want to carry curses of saying we have decided to land on the money of the elderly and shifted it elsewhere. No, I don't want to be party to that. I'm still hopeful that we shall look for this money as government. By the way, I am from the ruling party. And so we cannot have our own suffer. If anything, my president has made 80. He is now part of this.
And qualifies for SAGE.
Qualifies for SAGE. So how do we start mistreating with the president anyway? So therefore, he even feels the pinch. And he is the Minister of Finance. He is the Chief Minister. The Honorable Matia Kasaijas are just there. I want the president to listen to me this time and see to it that his category are about to be mistreated by the other Ugandans who think their priorities are different from the priorities of the elderly. And I also say we must increase this money to 35. What is 35? With the escalating prices of goods in the market. And yet these elderly people get things in the same market where we go. So therefore, my brother, before God, we will be inviting problem from heaven. The elderly are our God. They represent the image of God because their next thought is to be with the God. They're always pure. This thought of being corrupt and what. And those whose names are not on this money must be entered. Nira, please wake up. There are people who lost.
Many don't have national IDs.
Yes, and they don't need it for now. They don't have it because NIRA failed to capture their fingerprints. And their grooves on the fingers have already worn out. So NIRA must find a way. There's nothing like they say the lines on their face. That is it. When I grow old, I'll also have the wrinkles on my face. So what do you expect of them?
Honorable, when I look at viewer, what is available so far, we look at the social assistance grant implementation required 121.220 billion shillings. Now, when you look at it, however, only 100.1 billion has been made available, leaving a shortfall of 21.12 billion shillings. Currently, there are 306,759 senior citizens enrolled on this program. This deficit of 21.1 billion, is it money we are thinking of availing? It looks big.
This money is nothing. Domestic areas are around 11 trillion. Can you imagine domestic areas? There are people who are occupying spaces in the offices and holding government money. So therefore, the responsible teams, the IGG, the police, the WHO, Ministry of Finance, all the departments who are holding this around 11 trillion must produce these domestic areas. This Uganda budget is 70 trillion, around there. Honestly, how would you talk about 21 billion? This is a drop in the ocean. And to the most crucial team, to the most crucial people of the billion, this is nothing. This money can just be availed within no second. Nobody should justify here that we don't have the 11, I mean the 21 billion. No. It's no money. In this country, I know. This country of Uganda, no, that money is there. Well,
we are still looking at other programs around social protection now that we're having the budget consultative conferences going on. There's another area of social protection, that is withdrawal, rehabilitation, and settlement of street children. Now, this is an area that has not been prioritized for some time, because currently there was a directive under the minute number, it's given properly here, that the ministry provides funds to the tune of, that is 5.0 billion shillings for withdrawal, rehabilitation, and settlement of street children. To date, these funds have not been provided in the financial year 2024-2025. Now, every time you move around, you see these innocent souls. And ever since we talked about this, nothing, this is also another form of social protection. Because social protection is not only about the brother Ratoros, other people have clocked 80 and were celebrating, the anti-Christians, many you can talk about. It's even about these young children. And to me, whenever I hear this money, not yet there, I look at you members of parliament.
You're right. You see, I bleed internally. I feel so saddened that people can give their children to others for a bag, maybe 50 kilos of posho, and then these children are running everywhere in dirty waters in Kampala to collect money as the street children. First of all, I want to start with the parents. For me as Rose, with the womb that has produced 5 children, honestly, there is no value for what I carried 9 months. There is, like, I give you my child to go and stand. I want to start with the parents. I want to echo this to the Karamojong parents. I want to start there. For me, my biggest solution, leave alone the money that has not been released. Do you know that when I was the president of Uganda Change Agent Association, we were getting donations and we were contributing to rehabilitation of these children. But once taken back, they come back. There are people who are in big positions who are doing this silly business. I call it silly. I call it human trafficking. As a human rights lawyer, I don't agree with it. We first should attack the problem from the source. After retrieving all the guns from Karamoja, for me, I think the next thing we should embark on is to do a thorough, a total mindset change. The hardship in Karamoja, we are not going to behave like Obote, who said we shall not wait for Karamoja to develop. We are here to see Karamoja develop. Actually, West Nile is number 2 to Karamoja. So we cannot say, me from West Nile, I'm better. This is like pygmies comparing themselves in the forest. That me, I'm taller than the other one. Me and Karamojong, we are the same. So members, whoever is listening to me, feel touched. I want everybody to stop giving these children money. The day you stop giving them money, they don't eat the money by the day you give. There is another eye, or there are 2 other eyes who are waiting to see, has she or he received this money?
So I think I'm being sympathetic giving to this child, yet there is a mature person somewhere.
Very mature and earning. A person like me is standing somewhere. Once the child receives, and then the money is picked away. These kids are fed on, I don't know. The quality of food they eat is totally nothing. Their given remains. When you see those ones who are helping to work on beans and produce in Owino, you will cry. At the end of the day, the beans that fall down there, now they pick them. The chaff, they now go and sort it. Why? Why don't you want your child to live a dignified life? Mama Janet Museveni did a lot in Karamoja. Try to give money to Karamojongs to dig and then have food. By the to dig, to harvest, where they're not given money is when now they're going to eat. I think Karamoja has now developed. We have members of parliament from Karamoja who should really take it as a mantle. You see, I hate saying that I have my mandate as a member of parliament, 1, 2, 3, 4. I stop there. No, we have to go off our way. We have to think for our people because they have chosen us as their leader. And if they have picked you as a leader, what are you about to do? We must be aggressive with mindset change. If I was a Karamojong member of parliament, I would go and weep before my people. I would weep and say, what exactly do you want me to do? Stop giving your children. The abuse is right from the source. The person giving these children, or the persons giving these children, is number one enemy. 2, it's an embarrassment as a country for us to continue seeing children who are the future of this country. But we are going. No one should think at my age I'm growing younger. I should prepare a way. We should really devise a means. Before giving the money, we should first do sensitization. If there is a way to arrest all these children, put them in a house, and give them who they are. For them now, actually, they're like the child soldiers, the ones Connie took to the war front. Once they look at you as their first-class enemy. They don't see human being in you. What these children in the streets see is money. If they find your phone like this, which you are going to use for really looking for money for them from donors or to communicate to UBC so that you advocate for them, they will grab it mercilessly. So they have lost their heart. Who here is to blame? It's us. Which generation are we bringing up?
Now for me, I blame you members of parliament for failing because you allocate monies. 5 billion is not a lot of money. But this is a resolution we arrive at, and we say for rehabilitation, resettlement, and we are narrating that these funds were not available.
Let me tell you one thing. I said I was a president. First I was a vice president, then I became a president, both in Young Women Christian Association and Uganda Change Agent Association. Before we blamed the allocation. I don't agree with the refusal or failure to give the money. These children you see in the streets, you'll be shocked. Some have been there, taken back, rehabilitated, given a startup capital, given a what, 3-4 times. That's why I'm saying we should first attack the source where these children are coming from. Some people are doing business. They'll even tell you this 5 billion, the Ugandans will get it and eat it. Eating has now become a way of survival, not even survival, of living. You walk out of this studio, you get out there, a place you saw yesterday without a house. I don't know when they build. By morning, you'll find 11-story house. Really? Who has bewitched Uganda? This is being senseless. This is being heartless. One, this money must be released. I don't agree with this money not being released. But 2, can we attack the source from where these children are coming from? We need to tell them your child is not worth being given 100,000 or 50,000. You think the children market there where they're collecting the children is with a lot of money? No.
A parent receives 50,000 a month.
50,000, and that's
being sent to the parent, and the parent is like.
And how much do they collect a day? How many vehicles? How many people pass? The children sleep on the streets. You know, your child is drinking and eating dust, and will have stunted growth. It's better you drink that milk, that blood, eat that meat with your child. I know that is what a person who is a pastoralist like a Karamojong eats. We shall go to Karamoja the hard way. We are fed up. Don't mistreat your children. Live with them. Once they stop sending children, by the way, we will be sorted.
Well, we will be sorted now. Another area of social protection, since you said you're so passionate about older person, is Special Enterprise Grant for older persons. Now, the Special Enterprise Grant for older persons is a grant of Uganda initiative aimed at improving, that is, older persons' welfare. Now, when it comes to the month, this is given to people from 60 to 79 years. And they provided for some good money in this grant. However, also what was supposed to be allocated, there was a deduction to this. old people going back to business?
Thank you. That is, in short, it's called SEGO. Yeah, I went to my constituency. Actually, when I came to Parliament, I was all about SAGE. But until when I came face to face with the representative of the elderly, I got the data. And when I went on ground, indeed, whatever little has been given has trickled. And I don't know what priority. 5
billion was supposed to be allocated, but only 3 billion was given.
Yeah, that difference.
Leaving a shortfall of 2 billion shillings. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If there's anybody out there who sits on budget committee, apart from that, who is on the executive of this country, I'm addressing myself to the president. Your Excellency, this money does a lot. These people buy goats, they buy chicken, they buy cows. They really use the money, and the money touches their souls and hearts. It is there, and the good thing is the money is in a group, and the group is the security. If there are mishaps because some die, that is not so huge. The group is able to recover. So that shortfall, I don't know by the when they do budget cuts. I really don't understand when somebody decides to go to the area of the elderly, forgetting that I will be there very soon. Very soon. These days, but our bodies give way at 45, 46. So you will start feeling 60 as young as you are still 40s. So therefore, this was one of the issues raised yesterday. All those discrepancies must be corrected. It was very annoying, by the way, and extremely sad that there was no single minister from Ministry of Finance. But of course, the government chief whip promised that we'll have a meeting with them and make sure we get a response. And this one we're not going to leave. It's not late. It's better late than never. So I really want to give hope to the elderly that SEGO money, that 2 billion, what is it? I just told you about the 11 trillion, which is in domestic areas. 11 trillion. We are here talking about billion. So I think it's not all lost. And now that the president has just celebrated 80 years, I know he should really be passionate about this. Yeah, you first scratch where it hurts most. If you do not scratch where it hurts most, then people will say what, people wonder. Much as he's our president, he should not think also for those people. I said he is our chief minister of finance. He decides what he decides as NRM. We shall go by it. Your Excellency, I address myself to you. You are our Alpha and Omega. We pass laws, we pass what, but once you say no, we always go by it. But kindly, for the sake of the elderly who are at your level, think about this 2 billion and put there. Thank you.
Now, we are still looking at issues regarding social protection, well knowing that we are having the local government budget consultative conferences going on now. Here, the civil society organizations, the politicians, stakeholders give their input into the budget process. Remember, the budget process is now, by the time that the budget is out, it has gone through a number of consultations. And this is the time where stakeholders now come out and do much advocacy for areas where they feel money should be put. And I have a member of parliament, but also a champion of social protection. Now, another area or group that I feel I've been looking through the budget is another grant, which is the National Special Grant for Persons with Disability. Now, our viewer, this required funds for the grant of about 16.600 billion. However, only 8.11 has been made available, leaving a shortfall of 8.83 billion. And therefore, with the program's budget cut, a total of 1,000 persons with disability enterprise will be affected, subjecting them to severe vulnerabilities as well as loss of expected livelihood support across the country.
My brother, this is the most difficult area to debate or talk about. First of all, everybody in Ministry of Finance knows that disability is not inability. Two, already having a disability in the body compromises your way of doing work like the other people who don't have disabilities. So therefore, nobody, by the way, some people get disability when they are when they have reached an old age. You fall, you break your leg, and it fails to heal properly, and then it starts, maybe the bone starts getting rotten or some problem, and it's removed. Or your hand, or you are moving, and then some sharp object which you did not see and removes your eye, and so forth. It is very unfortunate. Ministry of Finance, look at all the gaps that have been mentioned, right from SAGE to SEGO, and now to this money for disabilities. These areas we are talking about are very sensitive and key areas. And by the way, these are the people who vote religiously. During the time of voting, they know that it is important to vote. Now, whose votes do you want to affect as Ministry of Finance? It is not good. I'm telling you, we are going to battle for this money, and we must get it on the table.
Now, Honorable, when we talk about, because if I look at most of the programs, we must be sincere and very honest to ourselves, that focus on social protection, what was allocated or what they should get, they got less. I've not seen any that we can proudly look at and say, these got what they were supposed to get. We are going to be celebrating International Day for Elder Persons on 1st October. And here I had officials from the ministry telling the older persons that one of the things that is going to be there, you're going to be getting your SAGE money, you're going to be demonstrating those that doubt these things are not there, encouraging others to ensure they get on the program. But remember, we're operating under a deficit budget. If this money comes to an end, it's complete, and we don't have another, either of those that will have gotten, it is very hard to understand all the grants we are talking about. Now, I want to understand, why is this happening? Is it lack of understanding the gravity of social protection, its value to people, or is it absence of funds, or you people not doing so much?
For me, I think it's arrogance. It's arrogance, and I just say somebody is just like refusing to do something. Because how can I explain a situation where money of persons with disabilities is removed? How do I explain removal or under budgeting for SEGO and SAGE? Everybody knows this. A right-thinking man who manages an office in Ministry of Finance, the PS, the ministers, they know the importance of this.
But you can only cut a coat according to your piece of cloth.
Yeah, but of course we have the money. I've just talked about the domestic areas. And there are so many areas they can cut from. Let's see, why don't they reduce from parliament budget? And then we see. Why don't they reduce from State House budget? And then we see. So why do they choose to go to the vulnerable, a person who cannot speak for him or herself? Remember, in Parliament, I'm the most vulnerable MP. It's not because I'm very rural. I'm the most rural because I defend the most vulnerable. I stand in the gap for that person who cannot speak for himself, who cannot speak for herself. It's a shame. It's a shame for this country to pick money from persons with disabilities, to pick money from the elderly. These are vulnerable people. They have already fallen down. When you're fighting with your brother, and your brother has fallen down, has no more energy, do you really feel normal to still go and struggle? A person who is asking for your help now, I'm down, please stop. Don't now finish me. Really, it is just being arrogant. It's being adamant. Let's open our ears. You have gone to school. All those managing these monies, from members of parliament up to the Minister of Finance, they have a capacity to understand in the simplest English that I'm explaining here that these monies are crucial. Just right, Honorable Speaker said yesterday, Minister of Finance cut elsewhere. When we were passing the anti-homosexuality law, it's unfortunate that some of my colleagues in Terego are saying, oh, I signed against the bill. It was only Honorable Fox Ondoi who did not sign, Where they're getting their nonsense from, you know, I don't even understand. I am here categorically clear saying, please and please put back those monies. Wherever you want to pick from. MPs that time said, we want to reduce our salaries. So pick from them, if need be. We have 70 trillion that we are budgeted. Now, from 70 trillion, you run to the vulnerable. I think that is not being fair.
Well, when I talk about an activist, a champion of social protection, Honorable Rose, that is Terego woman member of parliament, is very passionate, and you can feel it in her talk that really these are areas that we should prioritize during the budget allocation process. And what is happening today, or what began on the 16th of this month and will run till the 4th of October, is the local government budget consultative conferences. So wherever they are, these are some of the issues that we must prioritize to ensure that the elderly, to ensure that the street children, to ensure that any area that tackles social protection gets the financing they deserve. Other questions may come later, but first they get the budget allocations they deserve, because these are vulnerable people. And remember, any of us at one day, you can get there. For example, disability. You just wake up one morning. Some of us have been victims of this. One morning, either an accident or you're clobbered by thugs, or, you know, it can knock at your door anytime, anytime. But remember, you're not dead and life has to continue. So if we prepared for those there to have safe shock absorbers, when uncertainty comes our way, we have a safe landing because we made that investment. So I think this is the value of social protection. And this is why today, members of the Social Protection Forum, which is a pressure group in the Parliament of Uganda, feel as we discuss budgets, this is an area that matters so much. But Honorable, still I want to put this to you. I have heard people talk about so many things, but social protection crusade remains very low, and very few forums that you go to and hear people talk of social protection. Even when they're talking about social protection, they'll talk about social protection for those already who have better landings. We shall talk about NSSF, we shall talk about, you know, plan. They talk about you, an individual, not government in perspective for social protection. Why is it like that?
One, I want to say the fact that we don't have our elderly kept in one place, like the one in Europe.
Elder homes?
Yeah, like elderly homes, makes people think it's a responsibility of the society or community to which an elderly person belongs that should take care of him or her. Two, it's also believed that before you reach that age, you might have children or even grandchildren who should have looked after you, who should be there for your life. So many people take it for granted. Yet you find these elderly people being battered or beaten or robbed by this 25,000 which is paid quarterly. At times it's taken away by grandchildren who have become so rowdy. And I stand to warn everybody out there, if you are found beating your mother, your grandmother, or robbing the land, or taking the little monies, honestly, the penalties must change. We are going to start advocating for amendment of the laws, especially that favor the elderly. So I think in the country, it's just, we need to reawaken people's minds that no, not everybody you see elderly has somebody in the society to take care of. Much as that is the African society connotation or mindset, we need to start changing. Some people nowadays grow old without producing a child. Some people lose all their children before they reach the old age. It's believed in African society, I'm supposed to die first before my child. But you can see many children are dying. Many youths are dying, leaving me behind. You find in Terego people cursing, why have you gone before me? You are supposed to bury me. So it is that mindset That needs to be changed. We need to do mindset change. We need to walk the talk. I must be seen helping the elderly. I must stand in their gap. When I reach my constituency, by the way, they know. They come and lie here. They call me Mama. Mama, I just need a piece of soap. They want to whisper it in my ears. They want to feel my warmth. By the time I leave, remember, they don't wash their clothes like us. I have all types of smell. And I feel it. I like it. I feel I am giving them hope. Yet they have people with whom they live. Wake up. Support your elderly mother. Support your elderly father. Support your elderly village person. You return back to the village. This thing of coming to Kampala and you start saying you have forgotten your local language. You can't go to the local people. You start calling us poisoners. No, we are only dirty or ugly because we work so much in the garden and we lose shape. You know, when you are old, at times your mouth starts twisting, your eyes become narrow. That is old age, my friends. You who is looking handsome, who is looking beautiful, you are heading there. Therefore, it's our responsibility to take care of our elderly, to take care of the children who have been sent to the streets. Don't feel that the children are a burden. God never gives you beyond that you can manage. The children don't need much. They just need that you can eat with them. They need love. They need affection. Why are you sending our future generation to the streets? Basically, in Uganda Joint Christian Council, I was assigned in Karamoja. I gave hope to so many girls. You can still give hope to them. We have UPE. We have USE, which is there in Karamoja. Why are you sending us these children to suffer, to be knocked by the road? By the many die in road accidents. As they are running to pick money or after picking money running back, they are killed. Are you happy to bury your own? This must stop. Persons with disabilities, disability is not inability. People must know that anytime a car knocks you, crushes your leg, crushes your arm, crushes your thigh, any part, like my younger brother stays with the half scalp, half was removed in an accident. He became my priority. He is part of my life. Can we take care of persons with disabilities? Why are you reducing this money? Ministry of Finance, the committee of budget, did you really reduce it yourself? Shame, shame. Once upon a time, there was somebody who felt ashamed because of you removing this money, and that is me. And you must all be ashamed like me.
Well, Honorable, I'm very sure you've driven the point home. I don't know if you're not a lonely wolf in this, but you need more crusaders to push.
I'll continue pressurizing.
You'll continue pressurizing.
By the way, once I choose to walk this way, whether you tell me this is a wall, I'll make a route there. I will continue. I'm not going to let go
until these budget changes have been made.
Exactly.
To find the monies.
Well, we must, and we ought to. We shall find this money.
I will meet you after, and I'll ask you if, Honorable, the financial year 2025-2026, these have been catered for and brought to the levels of that are desired to have forceful and meaningful implementation. Well, Honorable, we have come to the end of the show, but I just want to give
when I would have done my best, if they refuse to give, it's like in the Bible, they have ears. The ears have refused to listen. They have eyes, their eyes have refused to see. Therefore, I would have exonerated myself by doing the right thing and leaving them in their mess, in the feces alone. I would have gone to bathe in my bathroom and gone to sit in the sitting room. But let these manners be God. This is not time for jokes. This is not time to play. The 11th Parliament must walk the talk. We must give hope to Ugandans. We must give what belongs to Caesar to Caesar. These people have worked for us. Now it's time for them to eat. Give it to them. It's nothing much to eat. What is 25,000 really?
Well, the much but little and so much. I've been having this morning Rose Obike, who happens to be the woman member of Parliament for Terego and a champion for social protection. So much programs we've discussed that yes, they were budgeted for, and the amounts of money allocated to them were not what was actually given. So they had what we call shortfalls in the budget, and these had impacts on people's livelihoods, their social, economical livelihoods that would have been improved We pray and hope that in the financial year 2025-2026, these monies will be found and these programs will continue assisting those that must be assisted. The rehabilitation, the withdrawal of street children, that 5 billion, that yes, we shall see this money. The SAGE, the 25 and a quarter, which is 75, that money will be provided. The money given to older persons to invest 60 to 79, to invest, buy the goats, buy sheep and all that, yes, the budget will be increased. We can take our whole day discussing this, but we just pray that social protection is a priority, because you never know when vulnerability will come your way and you need a fallback position. If we make it better today, in case we are there, we shall also find a soft landing. Have a lovely day. May the good Lord bless you. Keep it with us on UBC TV. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this